Welcome to Paradice, Drift in Aldhalor, our weekly actual play D&D show set in our homebrew world of Aradun. Our music is licensed through musicbed.com, and occasionally we use some Ambience, but not really. But if we do, it's from Syrinscape and TabletopAudio. Shanna's taking care of some childcare, so she should be joining us as soon as the little one goes to sleep. So I'm going to turn it over to Stefan to share about our partners.
Hey, thanks, Sean.
Man.
Yeah, Paradise wouldn't be Paradise without our wonderful partners, such as Underground Oracle. They are a TTRPG publisher creating new worlds in the Cypher system and beyond. And if I'm not mistaken, they might be making some new content for Daggerheart, which is pretty cool. I haven't sunk my teeth yet into Daggerheart, but it looks like a great system that complements their already robust stuff that they've been making with their Cypher system. So that's really cool. But their current focus, other than Daggerheart, is Foxfire, a science fiction TTRPG with a strong emphasis on high adventure and fun, full-throttled action, where you, the player, are playing as an anthropomorphic animal who has left Earth behind long ago to take their place among the stars. For as little as $3, you can become a member through their website and gain early access to this developing TTRPG in each of the worlds they create. Next up, we have Edward Yorke. He is our character artist that you see in the corner of all our things and at the beginning of the weight screen. Eddie is an illustrator based in the UK who makes art for games and books. To visit his portfolio and get in contact with him, visit eYorke, that's EYORKE.com. And then we got 1985 Games. They create affordable, accessible, high-quality accessories for Dungeons & Dragons and other tabletop role-playing games. Sean has used their NPC cards to create interesting, memorable, and easily accessible characters for us to engage with in the campaign. If you use the code paradiceprod when you're at checkout, you can get 10% off your entire order. So that's cool. We have recaps and VODs. They're not up to date. That's no one's fault. No one's fault. Look, no one's at fault here. No one is blaming
This feels
anyone.
like the reverse of the in Good Will Hunting when he's like, it's not your fault.
It's not your fault. It's no one's fault. I didn't say it was your fault. So the fact that you're assuming blame tells me something, Sean.
Oh, this feels manipulative.
That it's not your fault. But, you know, we do have some of them. So if you're interested in those, you can find them on our Discord and on our YouTube, and they will be filled out eventually. Until then, join us on all the social medias, such as Bluesky, Twitch, Twitter, YouTube, Discord, Instagram, and TikTok.
You tell him, Lucy.
And my cat is yowling. So,
which is my cue to start the recap.
Lucy!
Mike, you're not playing a tabaxi.
Oh, I thought they weren't cats.
A little rough, don't you think?
All right. Last we left off, the plot thickened in Hyvin. The mysterious forces throughout the city that have caused some issues, but also been a adversary to Iron and Mana, have somewhat boiled over. Our heroes have been on a mission to bring Hyvin together, to turn this once lawless and once heavily divided and currently heavily divided city together to prepare for what they believe is coming, which is some kind of reckoning, it seems, of cosmic forces that a lot of the players or at least some of the things that might attract these forces, seem to be gravitating to Hyvin as this city of destiny, perhaps. The main adversary of Iron and Mana has been Mr. Greaves, a man who once called himself the leader of the Syndicate, a crime organization, but now is claiming that he's gone straight, so to speak, in order to claim Hyvin through a democratic election that there's no evidence that he's rigging for himself. While our party has decided to try to influence that election by bringing the people together to ensure democracy comes together. democracy manifest. And
And you couldn't help yourself.
I couldn't. I almost just said it in the actual sentence, but part of this is them unraveling some of the criminal network, particularly the figure of Cadmus at the academy, who they found evidence was heavily involved with Mr. Greaves' criminal organization, and incriminated not only him but many in the academy. They set up for this information to be released to the public through a self-published pamphlet, also learning that the Hyvin Times is compromised by the influences of Halcyon, the magocracy in the far-off lands beyond the sea, and the dominant force of Aldhalor. All of this came to a head after they distributed it, when they learned through a scrying spell that Cadmus was in the city at the Hyvin Times doing something. They decided what better opportunity to catch him with his pants around his ankles than this upper hand that they have. So the party met in the early aughts of sunrise outside of the Hyvin Times and busted through the door, where they found not Cadmus necessarily. They found Kellen, the dragonborn reporter that they've been working with somewhat, or at least Jacquette has been working with in Hyvin. An innocuous fellow who seemed to have always been a good source of information, but not necessarily hostile to them. He immediately attempted to flee. They eventually caught him on the rooftops, and a tug of war happened, and Fyrn was able to subdue Kellen and capture him. They, under cover of the darkness of the early sunrise, they carried Kellen's unconscious body back to Sigel's library, Sigel being their ally, where they began to discuss what could possibly be. Through some discernment, they learned, well, first of all, this Kellen figure had shapeshifted back into Cadmus during the fight, but there was no magical trace of this, no illusory magic. Septimus had his detect magic up. Fyrn, with his proficiencies in nature, discerned that this might be a changeling that they're dealing with, someone who can physically change themselves without the assistance of magic. They began to unravel that the figure they know as Cadmus might have never been Cadmus, and the figure they knew as Kellen might have never been Kellen as well, and that this individual is either one of them, and they were always a changeling, or is someone who has imprisoned these people, killed these people to take on their personalities. Nevertheless, there seems to be a deep conspiracy where several layers of Hyvin's hierarchy have been infiltrated by this figure, at least the Academy and the Hyvin Times. For what purposes, they're not 100% certain, other than they know that they seem to be subverting Iron and Mana and working in some context with Mr. Greaves via the personality of Cadmus. They debated what to do with the person with several backup plans. Plan A is simple interrogation. Plan B is a Gesh spell from Saskia. And Plan C, or maybe Plan D or E, who knows, is that they just kill the guy and see what happens. So a lot of different potential outcomes here. Where they ended was in Sigel's office with the unconscious figure there. With that, I think that's where we left off. With you waiting for the figure to awaken. So, Iron and Mana, you have, I believe you tied the person's hands up.
Yes. We handcuffed him behind the back.
Mm-hmm. Is there anything else you want to do while you're waiting for them to wake up?
I think we briefly talked about just making sure we take out everything from their pockets, check if they had anything on them.
Yeah. You did discover that they had some platinum on them, but they had nothing else. Also, you saw that they had no spell focus, despite them casting spells in the fight you had with them. All right. But if there's nothing you want to do in preparation, you can just simply wait in the room until they awaken.
The room that we're in, is it secure? Like, is it like, do we put them in a cell or anything like that?
Sigil doesn't have any
spare.
What'd you say?
It's the spare bedroom, right?
Yes,
that Septimus
correct.
slept in the night before, and Bruce has been
It is.
sleeping in.
Yeah, so it's basically a rectangular room with 2 beds in it. So very simple, straightforward. 2 beds, 2 side tables, some lamps on the wall. Really just there for scholars to stay the night. Sigil doesn't really have cells in here, in that sense. Though there is that deeper portion of this library that you all noticed when you came in. Sigil has kind of left you to it and decided to go back to his own study, but he told you to grab him if you needed him. You also learned, this is something I didn't say in the recap, not recap, red cap. These are not little fey creatures. That Sigil was honest with you after some persuasion that he has not been in Hyvin for as long as he seems to have been. He's only been here for 1.5 years. And that also indicated some of the knowledge you have about Cadmus, that Sigil's only known Cadmus for 1.5 years. So whoever this guy is has at least been Cadmus for 1.5 years, if he did kill whoever the original Cadmus was. Any other questions before we wait for the awakening?
I guess this is a question for, the party.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think we should, wait a little while, put some pressure on him? We could, when they wake up, we could just wait and see how they react to the situation that they're in.
That's actually a good point, Fyrn. Sometimes silence is a good persuader when trying to extract information.
Sarah, you just want to, stare at him?
Initially.
Well,
The less we say, the more he can assume. We don't want to give away too much.
also,
Unless you have something.
we might want to consider maybe bounding his mouth so he can't, cast for.
We need him to talk if we're going to get any information out of him.
He can nod his head.
I don't want to play 20 questions.
No, his hands
That's
are
why I
bound.
have this. And Jacquet takes out a little vial, which he did show you guys before last session.
Right.
Yeah.
Truth serum. As long as it works, we should have no problem if he's
Simply-
talking.
Yeah. There's not been I suppose, useful spells he can get away with just speaking. His hands
Well,
bound.
he can teleport. With his hands bound, it will be much harder.
Right.
But I think it would be helpful if Sigil was in here when he's awake to prepare any counter spells.
Certainly.
That's true, because those of you who are spellcasters, we have plenty who can cast this, do know that most teleportation spells are just verbal. They don't have somatic components. Particularly the classics for escape, like Misty Step or Dimension Door, have only verbal components.
Really? Damn.
But
Well,
Sigil
the
does
fact
have powerful counter spells.
Also, we're in Sigel's domain sort of situation. I'm not sure if he would know how to get out of here, even if it were to escape us.
Well, you have to imagine that Kellen, or Cadmus, or whatever the fuck his name is.
Yeah, you
has
do
been
know
down
that
here.
you've met Cadmus in this area. You know that Cadmus
Right.
knows the library, at least to an extent. Now you're a little deeper in the library than usual, but if he were to do a Dimension Door, he could find his way out of the library.
What if we blindfolded him? A lot of these spells include him seeing a certain location.
And if he doesn't know that he's in,
Doesn't know where he is.
Yeah.
yeah,
He wouldn't be able to teleport anywhere specifically.
yeah, he wouldn't be able to know if it was in range. It would be a risk to his own life to try and escape. He might
I mean,
still do it.
he'd be
but-
smart to
stop
assume
Misty
he was
Step.
still at Hyvin, but it would stop the Misty Step.
It would stop Misty Step, and it would potentially stop Dimension Door if he recognized where he was.
It would be a much bigger risk to Dimension Door blindly because he could get stuck in a wall.
Right.
Septimus pulls out a thing of cloth, gesturing, should we?
Jacques
Very
nods.
Septimus will go. wrap
Should
it
we
around
hang
his
him
face.
upside down or something?
Okay, let's not
No.
get excessive now.
As you say that, and as Septimus finishes tying the rag around the figure of Cadmus's eyes, like as Septimus is doing it and turns back and says, to say that's too extreme, you would feel him stir awake to the touch of the eye block, whatever.
Blindfold.
Blindfold. Thank you. You can tell that his instinct was to reach for his head, given the amount of blows he took from Fyrn. And the head just kind of starts to look around.
Cadmus. Or Kellen. Or... Do you go by something else?
And the head had been turning around, but as soon as Jacques spoke, it focused on the source of the voice. Cadmus can suffice for now.
Can I offer you something to drink, Cadmus?
Despite the clear hoarseness of his voice, he shakes his head no. I think I'm all right on the floor. Very astute of you to blind me. I've been caught. I'm sure you've been spending whatever time I've been unconscious planning what to do with me. The silence, hoping I'll fill the space.
You're doing a great job. Please, continue.
I guess I'm not dealing with amateurs. He just kind of looks up at you with a smile. We could do this all night, all day.
Fyrn, grab his face.
Yeah, I basically try and pry his mouth open and hold it open for.
Oh.
Yeah. He does not. He instinctually
I just,
resists.
Yeah, at first I just squeeze his cheeks, but if he I'm not gonna rip his jaw open. But...
No, yeah. But he absolutely just involuntarily spits up, and it's just as you hold his jaw open.
Jacques leans in to put his mouth next to Cadmus's ear and goes, "We can either do this the easy way or the hard way. Nod your head for easy, shake for hard."
It's certainly a calculation. He doesn't immediately shake yes or no, even despite being in the vice grip of Fyrn. He would eventually very slowly nod his head easy.
Okay. Jacques will sit back down and go, I don't think we need to be that rough with Cadmus. Fyrn, do you? Despite him being a little shit.
He's had enough already, I suppose.
And do you like release his head?
Yeah. Once we finish killing everything.
And he's like, what is it that you wish to know?
Oh, by the hells, where do we start? How long?
How long exactly? In what sense?
How long have you been assuming these identities?
Many years. There is no Kellen.
And can I make an insight check? Either one that lasts the entirety of the conversation or as you wish, but, Jacquette is very cognizant of questioning not everything Cadmus/Kellen says, but...
Yeah. So for that, what I would say is you have, you generally, I'll say for all of you, have 3 options. You can always take your passive insight. You can roll a conversation lasting insight, but I'm going to say if you're choosing that, you have to stay with that insight for the whole conversation, the whole interrogation, or you can do piecemeal rolls.
Quickly, just to interject, Kellen's position at the Hyvin Times, for Michael's sake, was a reporter. Just a reporter.
Yeah, he was not like, he didn't have like authority there. He was basically the crime beat journalist, who also seemed to have, seem to have more editorial control than a simple journalist, in the sense that he was probably like a deputy editor for that section of the paper. But he was not like in charge of a department or anything like that. He even seemingly, from your knowledge, didn't even work there full time. He was often not there. Okay. And when you were told you had to ever visit him, it was always specific days that he would be at the Hyvin Times for that week or that month. But would anyone like to do an insight check here?
Yes.
A passive one for him? If he does that, maybe I'll do a conversational one.
Yeah, I guess. Do you want to take a roll, a passive, or keep it piecemeal?
Jacquette's gonna just do a conversational one.
Okay.
It's a 22.
Okay, so to your best assumptions here. Now I'm going to be rolling with these often, but it doesn't necessarily mean that I'm rolling a real roll here. This is not to give away with the deception or persuasion that could be coming out of this. I'll always roll, even if it's something that I think that you would know is true and he's being truthful about, just for the theater of it. Jacquette, to your best intuition, this line about Kellen is truthful. He seems relaxed. He doesn't, none of the indications of like a panicked lie. And given the like agreeableness of him right now, as far as your knowledge goes, this is truth.
Okay, so no Kellen, but Cadmus.
And the pause here does make you more suspicious than the Kellen one. Like even in the sense of like, you guys have been part of interrogations. You are high enough level to have like kind of like know a little bit about the Alma captive that you may have had in the past. There may have been a Mott and Bailey situation here with like, it's easy to give up that Kellen isn't real. So he hesitates. Cadmus longer. Close to a decade.
some time to be someone else, I would know. And Jacquet flashes a toothy grin, but Cadmus can't see. And goes, before that?
Before that, I was myself.
And who might that be?
Before I took over the position of Cadmus, I'll continue after this, but realistically nobody. I was just a poor day worker in the widow's ward, or what at that time was known as the Firebreaker district before the Great Storm. And like his head even like moves around when he says the Great Storm, almost like he's looking for you, Septimus.
Septimus will remain quiet and just continue to listen. But what he mentioned it is the
Firebreaker district.
District.
That you would know is true. That before the Great Storm, Widow's Ward was called the Firebreaker District, given its history of having like at that time literally the firefighters of Hyvin, sort of at that time the private firefighters of Hyvin that was also somewhat a little criminal in their enterprising. The Firebreakers were kind of so locals would know as kind of like the predecessor of the Syndicate.
Okay, they were predatory.
Oh yeah, they were the ones who brought their fire wagon over to the building and were like, "Hey, did you pay your fire tax this year?"
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I gotcha.
Yeah. Like the Firebreaker district was always somewhat had a criminal element to it. At this time, though, like you would know, like with between 2 and 8 years ago, Hyvin was way more criminal. Like it was way more factional. Like the certain
the storm.
Before the storm, yeah.
It was way more criminal.
Well, I guess the criminal element in the immediate aftermath of the storm was heightened because there was opportunity, but like the actual sort of like the Alumno Defiance was more present as a mercenary force. The Firebreakers were a more effective criminal organization than even the Syndicate. They were just more stable, I guess. It's not that it was.
There's more solidified, organized.
Correct.
Entities that existed. The storm came, ruffled everything up, caused more chaos. Yeah. And then in the surge for trying to get power back, the government also had its hand in it because it saw there was a natural disaster and tried to influence its policies.
Exactly.
Gotcha.
Yeah, there was even more of a stratification between the Undercity and the Upper City. Not to say there isn't now. It just the grip the crime organizations of that time was firmer on Hyvin for like totality of territory, whereas now it's more like we have to stay more in the shadows, but we also need to, we're still doing the same vie for power. The last year and a half, or last year since the storm, was like despite the fact that Hyvin was unsafe and there this crime element, they just didn't have as much power, like literal power, as they did before that. Like Hyvin was a proper pirate port at that time as well, in the sense of like they were targeting halcyonic ships. There was actually, if anything, Hyvin was a little bit wealthier at the time because of this piracy that was then, hey, yeah, we're gonna like racketeer you and make you pay us for protection, but also like we're gonna be generous, like very generous organizations to keep that power in the city. Whereas after the storm, it was like no one had the wealth to be overly generous. They then just had the racketeering to go off of.
Okay.
I'll admit I was bit of a scamp, a bit of a wheeler and dealer, but mostly, at that time, bad faith deals. Scamming the different organizations, keeping myself hidden, assuming new personalities. The benefits of being able to take on new personalities. Oh, it's more difficult than you might presume. Like, it takes careful work to invent someone.
It's true, if you want to use it for a while. It's very easy to invent someone out of the thin air and use them quickly to skate by. Jacquette's kind of trying to use his, disguise background to not necessarily like endear himself with Cadmus, but to kind of reach an understanding. And additionally, during this conversation, I'm going to use one of my subclass features, Master of Intrigue. Nope, wrong one.
Yeah, absolutely.
Insightful Manipulator, where if I spend at least 1 minute observing or interacting with another creature outside combat, I can learn whether it is my equal, superior, or inferior. In any two, I'm going to be choosing Charisma and class level, with the caveat that at the DM's option, you might also reveal, a piece of the creature's history or one of its personality traits, if it has any.
Sure thing. So you, this conversation has been going longer than a minute, so you'll get that information. As far as like, this creature is superior to you. Class level is a little more difficult given that it's a NPC and they don't necessarily have class levels.
But like if you think of like a CR.
Yeah, CR 16.
Okay. So higher.
Yeah. And like even honestly for you, Jacquette, while you're doing this insightful observation, this entity seems stronger than they were. They didn't like necessarily use their full strength in the fight that you had with them. They may have been prioritizing getting away over utilizing their full capabilities.
Right.
And perhaps underestimated you.
Yeah.
Charisma is high. It's higher than a PC. His charisma is 24.
Okay. You don't have to give me the exact number, but I appreciate that.
Sorry. What would I give you? Just like say like higher than you.
Yeah. So I'm 18. So if he's got higher than an 18, that's all I heard. I just heard higher.
I didn't say anything. It's higher than an 18.
That's high.
And then like as far as like in discerning something about what you've heard so far in that minute, personality wise, this is a scrappy survivor. Like that there's like they're not making that part up, that they were nobody before they took on the Kellen personality. Like this person is absolutely someone who scrapes the bottom of the kettle and like knows how to move in the grime and the muck of a corrupt city. In that sense, like you can discern like this is not just like some professional spy hired by the syndicate or something like this is someone who really has been at the bottom and has tried to move their way upwards.
And then kind of while he continues, because he's still talking about who he was before, Jacquette is going to, as loudly as one can, pour himself a glass of water.
Okay. Trying to get that thirst going. Give me a persuasion roll for that.
Oh, okay. That's a 23.
All right. So he's not going to immediately acquiesce to this,
Sure.
but you, for your own knowledge, can think in terms of like you've begun a personal skill challenge, and you have a success on that skill challenge, as you can hear him like slap his lips, like.
Perfect.
So like you can continue to press that, and it will be a small personal skill challenge between you and him.
Okay. Cool.
He does seem to quiet off though at that point. He doesn't continue to drone on, and mostly what he was talking about were things that you could easily identify as like he's just saying facts about the city before the storm. Like he's not any more giving information than he is like trying to placate you with words.
Sure.
Gulp.
But how did you go from a scrappy survivor in the, what was it, the Fighter Breakers district, to a professor at the Hyvin Academy?
Diligent work. How anyone becomes somebody. It took some careful tact and some hard-earned lessons at the time. I remained myself in the Firebreaker district, or at least the collective of myselves there, and began studying. Not everything is purely deception. I began studying. It was newer at the time, a fresh and exciting new college of naturalism. They were looking for eager minds, and I was eager. And it took some time. It wasn't successful immediately, inventing somebody. And I had a few false starts, some failed students who are non-existent anymore, other than in the records of at the academy, given they never existed ever. I began to appeal to the senses of their egos, as I'm sure you've done before yourself, Jacquette. And I must say, you did a very good job until the incident with your LaRue.
Well, we can't all be perfect, can we, my friend?
Perfection is not the destination. Saskia.
Hi.
Just gonna catch you up real quick.
Yes,
Hope it
please.
wasn't too difficult to get the boys down.
Thank God it wasn't. It was a circle of hell for one of them, but it's fine.
You've risen to the surface. So in the interrogations, you've all, what he's revealed. Well, first of all, there was a threat of a truth serum that got him to talk more openly. When Fyrn
He doesn't know that it was a truth serum. It was just, do you want to do it the easy way or the hard way?
There was a threat of some kind of poison.
Okay.
You know, I think it's easy for him to surmise that by you. Fyrn
Right,
literally
holding his
holding
mouth
his
open.
jaw open while Jacques
Could've been
came up to it and
poison.
said, it could have just simply been like, we're going to make you sick as fuck. Or we're making you drink something gross. He revealed that Kellen never existed.
Okay.
Kellen was whole cloth invented by him. He was Kellen for a couple years.
Okay.
He's been Cadmus for almost a decade. He technically did not say Cadmus was whole cloth invented, but there was the insinuation of it, and the conversation that's happened since. They asked who he was before that. He did not reveal a name, but he said he was nobody. He was just a scrapper or a scrappy individual on the streets of a district called Firebreaker District, which was what the Widow's Ward was called before the storm destroyed it. You guys wouldn't know this. Septimus is really the only one who would know it. Was called Firebreaker because Firebreakers were the original kind of syndicate. They were a criminal organization whose racket was not like smuggling. Their racket was extortion, because they were the like firefighters of the city. So like kind of like in old, early America, where like firefighters were private, and it would be like, hey, you gotta slip us some coin or your house is gonna burn down. And that he revealed that he was kind of living on the streets, like ripping people off, essentially, was like the way he survived, because he could take on any face he wanted, things like that. He said he had many personalities at the time to keep that going. Jacquet has asked him how he became a professor from coming out of the gutter like that. And he said diligent work with many failures at first, but that he studied. And he basically saying like, I didn't just like pretend to be somebody else or a professor. I actually accrued some of that knowledge, because at the time the School of Naturalism was new and they were looking for eager learners, and he exploited that opportunity. He also revealed that he knows that Jacquet is Leroux.
Okay.
And then also kind of insinuated that the last thing he said before he hopped on was that he utilized the egos of the academics. He played to their egos to try to get his position of power in the academy. And then he revealed that he knew Jacquet was Leroux. And the last thing he said was perfection is not a destination, after Jacquet said nobody's perfect. Because he had said, you did a pretty good job with Leroux until the incident, referring to the De Leon brothers fight.
Okay.
And you're all caught up.
Awesome. Great. Thanks.
Y'all hear a flush, and Sass walks back into the room. He is blindfolded also to prevent him from using Misty Step. And his hands are bound.
So, you go from lowly street rat to the ivory towers of the academy. Why stoop back down to work with Greaves' syndicate?
Well, I'm certain the members of Iron and Mana are no strangers to the temptations of influence and power. Otherwise, you might be doing things differently. There is a truthfulness, though perhaps brutish, to Greaves. And I think the petty squabbles of back alley pirates, myself one, is not a way to advance your home. There are treasures and wonders beyond these shores in the will of Halcyon. A different way to live. And I believe, to use his slogan, I believe in Mr. Greaves. He's of course a brigand, but a brigand with connections. And I've made my life from connections. Exploitations of weakness, exploitations of those webs, the ones that people, I keep moving my hands, people, and like you could see his shoulders just gesticulating because he wants to move his hands and talk with his hands.
Mm-hmm.
People can't see those webs that I think you can see, Jacquet. I haven't heard from you, but I assume Saskia and Septimus are here, and Bruce as well. Fyrn, I know you're here. As he stretches his jaw.
Yeah, sure. Regardless of who's here and who's not. Take advantage of those connections. What about powers? Take advantage of higher powers to gain yourself some higher power?
It's not difficult to fake intelligence. Study. You just do it. Diligence, as I said. But magic. Not so simple. Many who become professors at the academy have spent their youth in tutelage. They may not be powerful archmages, but they have done that study. Perhaps I have imbibed in the packs of warlocks, just as Saskia. It's no...
Taking the easy way out, we call it. No offense, he says to Saskia.
Do we call it that? I've never heard you say that once.
You're not wrong, it is a gamble. But I assure you, the longer you gamble, warlockdom is not easier. Years of privilege, and he does kind of train his look to the source of your voice, Jacquette, allow many to acquire magical power. Whether it's through college, or it's through the tutelage of a house wizard. But when you're desperate, and those places are not available to you, there's no inclined bloodline, and you don't want to join the military, whispers from the dark are tempting.
Jacquette takes another long draw of water.
Give me another persuasion roll.
God, I am sucking eggs. 23.
Well, luckily for you, he's sucking worse eggs. I've rolled.
Yummy.
I rolled a 2 both times for this on his part.
So far today, I've rolled a 3, a 1, and a 5. But being a rogue has many abilities some would call
Unnatural.
unnatural.
Got him.
And then setting the cup down, Jacques goes,
Okay, so you sign a pact to become a warlock. You believe in Greaves. But what are you doing now? Running interference for him? Breaking up our game?
He slaps
What
his
was
lips
that?
again. He's
Oh,
just
okay.
him
Yeah.
sighing and slapping his lips. The mic didn't pick it up because he's very thirsty. I am, of course, sympathetic to your desire for some unity, some greater good. I've met many people with similar thoughts in the academy and as Kellen and throughout my time in Hyvin. I've never seen a happy ending for those people. More often than not, those
you don't
types
go
of people.
to the right bars, though.
I've heard your regaling of Iron and Mana's successes, and I applaud them. Truly, despite some of them working against other machinations, small victories in a grander war, and your proclivities towards that greater good will be your end.
Can I know I asked for a conversational insight, but can I specifically insight this ideology of his, or this, idealism of being like, oh yeah,
Sure.
cool, cool.
Yeah. For the if you decide to do like, I'm gonna have a conversational insight for the whole thing, but there's like a very specific insight that you want to know, you can do a roll for that.
That's 21.
This does feel earnest in the sense of like there is like a true, whatever you would call it, veneer of nihilism there. You're not sure the source of it. Someone who's been burned too many times, someone who's seen people fail to try to do good, or just a selfishness. There is a truth in his sort of like, even the way he talked about it was very like locked into what's likely his own ideology of like survival of the fittest, perhaps, or that whenever you try to do good, you're destined to fail.
So, what is your current task? Does he give them out to you? Do you show up and he says, okay, you do this, and Cadmus/Kellen/ whatever other fucking face you're wearing, you're gonna do this for me. Is that how it goes?
Jacques, remind me what your conversational insight was.
So it's actually a 21. I forgot to nix the one with the resurrection.
One, yeah. Did anyone else want to have conversational insight? Septimus, you indicated that you would might do it.
I did at one point, but now I'm backtracking. I'm gonna stay quiet.
Okay. All right. So Shannon, catch you up.
He's letting him take the thing, but if at any point I could take the help action to assist with any of these roles,
Team player.
Yeah, you just make sure that you proactively say you use the help action before Jacques rolls. Saskia, I gave everyone the option of doing 3 different types of insight here. They can take their passive insight just as their universal insight. They can roll a conversational insight, which means you roll once and you carry that insight through the whole conversation. And you, for those, I do still suggest saying like, do I learn anything from my conversational insight? Because I might not remember in the moment. And then, or you can do a piecemeal one where it's like every time you hear something he says, you're like, I want to roll individually every time and risk having a lower roll, but also gamble to have a higher roll than your conversational one.
Got it. Well, my passive insight is shit, so I would like to roll a conversational insight if that's okay.
Go ahead and do that now.
And is it just insight roll?
It's just an insight roll, yeah. And if it's conversation, means you're going to carry it through the whole conversation, and you can access it at any point and say, I'd like to use my conversational insight to learn something about that. Or you can still, like Jacques said, if there's like a very specific thing that you're like, I'd like to do a individual roll for that, you can still roll. It's just for the more casual insights that you have to stick with the conversational one.
All right.
I would like to say that even though I'm not talking, I like to stick with my passive perception.
Your passive perception or your passive insight?
Oh, both. Yeah, passive insight.
All right. What's your passive insight? I had a feeling it's what is it?
It's 20.
Okay. That's kind of why I asked you, because I was like, you probably have a good passive insight, and we know your rolls.
Yeah, so I'm just gonna keep it like that.
Yeah.
So just remember, if you want to access that conversational insight, remind me that say like I'd like to see if I want to see if I learn anything with my conversational insight. Saskia?
Well, it was a 3. So that's awful. But upon hearing, that he's a warlock and a warlockdom, would I be able to discern that Mr. Greaves is his patron?
I would say no roll necessary. There's not really enough evidence to say that. But it is an interesting theory, because
Okay.
Mr. Greaves is dealing with fiendish magic. You all don't really know the origin of that. You might have presumed he was a warlock, but you could be, he could be a demon or a fiend. You guys have some of you accused, or one of you accused Roe of being Mr. Greaves, or being the patron for Mr. Greaves. So it's not something you can discern a truth about, but it's not a terrible thing to latch on to. It's not a bad insight, I guess, or there's no evidence I can tell you is that insight is absolutely wrong.
Yeah. All right.
Well, they
Good
did
to
both
know.
have a connection to shadows in some way, though, right?
Well, you guys have above table seen Mr. Greaves interacting with shadow demons. You can assume on table that he is dealing with shadow demons, given one tried to kill you, and you did see Kellen channeling shadow magic. So there is a through line there for sure.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, the nature of Michael.
Septimus explodes.
This is the first time that I'm legitimately thinking of giving you exhaustion for that.
It was really bad in this specific scenario.
Yeah, so
Yeah, he'll never unmute himself for a burp again.
Well, to unmute himself would mean that he mutes himself in the first place.
That's a good point. I guess I should amend that statement to he'll learn to mute himself. But yes, you guys don't have indications necessarily of Greaves's fiendish magic. Very reasonable to say he's a warlock. Obviously, this individual has admitted to being a warlock.
So how does it work? Do you get an order from him?
Well, I know from your interactions with the Dark Master that usually he works through proxies. It's not a meeting with Mr. Greaves necessarily, though I will say I have met him. It's usually through Orkwood, his main proxy, or a nameless proxy who's there simply to deliver communications. It is more of a back and forth. It's not here's your orders issued on this day. It's more, what can we do? What is our next move? What is happening in the city? What is Jacquet Touchard up to?
Oh, have I interested him that much? A real thorn in his side?
Well, I do hope this goes right to your head, Jacquet, but you have been a rabble-rouser yourself and a chaotic element for Greaves's mission.
His mission of total control and of allowing Halcyon into our fair city.
Exactly.
Why Halcyon?
And again, Jacquet. Gulp, 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 gulp.
All right, give me your
Yep.
your third roll.
All right. There. That's what we're looking for. 29.
Of course, it's the one time that I'm like, I rolled really well. And you get a 29.
What are you drinking?
He's just drinking water. to
Jacquet's
try to-
just drinking water. But he offered Cadmus water at the beginning. with the intent that he's going to slip the truth serum into the water, and Cadmus won't know
Gotcha.
about it.
Gotcha.
I love this. He had a 28.
Oh, that little got him.
So as he was saying those things, he kind of like finally is like, I think I'll take that water you offered in the beginning.
Oh, of course. What are we if not gracious hosts, though?
He doesn't say what he was about to say. As he is going to, I don't know if you want me to roll the sleight of hand, but he is going to sleight of hand his truth serum.
I do want you to roll the sleight of hand.
Well, that's a 24.
Okay, and yeah, I think you wouldn't. There's no way you would have failed that because he's. Actually, no, he would be.
Sean, I apologize. My last roll is a 28, not a 29.
Oh, okay, then.
Rollies.
No, it's well, actually, no, because it is a skill check. We usually do rollies for those, versus a meets. It's not like a saving throw where it meets it beats.
Right.
So let's roll again for that.
Okay.
Yeah, I forgot the resurrection sickness. We get it.
Yeah.
I'm gonna write it down in front of me so I can remember.
Well, it's like, yeah, I have it here, but it's like in the corner enough.
Yeah.
And so I look at the number first, and then I'm like, oh wait. So that is a 23 for my roll off, because I rolled a nat 1.
Okay, so he is going to successfully hold off your
right,
water advances then. I mean, you still have 2 successes though. He only has 1.
Right.
So,
I need one more.
It's a 3. You need 1 more. If he gets 2 more successes, then it shuts out the challenge and he won't take a drink no matter what.
Sure.
Okay, so with that in mind, reverse, he did not say, I'll take that water.
Mm-hmm. So Jacques had asked him. So he said the proxies. Oh no!
Yes, why Halcyon?
Oh yes, why Halcyon?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you said why Halcyon and then took your drink. He would kind of look down and look back towards the direction of you speaking and say, call it writing on the wall. Halcyon will come to Aldhalor no matter what. In some way. Whether with warships or commerce. Saipajin is a fool who thinks he can hold Aldhalor together himself, and I understand the hypocrisy of saying that, considering Greaves is also ego. But a means to an end. We are much more likely to have a favorable ending for our fair city if we bring in Halcyon. Devil you know, in some sense.
But do you know Halcyon?
I have met some of their eminent house members. Whether it's the representative in Stony Heath, or when I visited those streets myself. Yes, they are strange. And some of their ambitions obscure. But it is undoubted that there is less chaos, more stability. And those of us who have called Aldhalor home know when there's a storm that rips through your home, You desperately wish that stability, that wall, control.
But as I understand it, Halcyon is leagues away. And we're here. So, how exactly are they going to provide stability here? You have the Mirzan, you have Saipajan, you have all of Aldhalor waiting. And you'll have one small bastion of Halcyonic control. I guess you have the AEC too, but...
There's the AEC. There is the wealth of food in Asia. And sure, Hyvin is the beginning. But there's much leverage in these lands. And if we can prove to the farmers and masons and crafters of those lands, Oreikiovo, there's no Aldhalor without Asia. Or at least there's no Governor Saipajan. The Zon can pretend like they can stand against Halcyon, but even with their ironclad ships, you've seen the ship in the docks, the one with no sails, the smooth metallic edges. They won't stand. They will need to bend their knee. And if Hyvin is ahead of that curve, well, there's only opportunity.
I think there we disagree. Halcyon's tendrils of control coming into the city will only bring more conflict. Saipajan will not rest while
Asia.
while Asia is attacked in this way. And the Zon may lose, but not before there is a lot of dead people on these shores. But we're not here to discuss which side to be on. I think it's very clear we've both chosen our sides, and there's no changing that. So, the question then becomes, and at this, Jacques is going to take a sip of water. Oh, Christ. 23.
No, you're supposed to say, "Can you help me?" And then I give him, like, I lift his arms up and, give him some pain,
Fyrn, do you want a glass of water? You're muted.
He's gonna say, "You already rolled."
No, I was gonna say you don't need it. He
okay.
rolled a 16, so you are able to tempt him into a drink. I say, you're not wrong. These factional lines have been set and engraved over years. Or shorter for you, but perhaps deeper. Perhaps a toast with some of that water of yours.
I could get you something stronger if we're talking a toast. I'm sure old Sigil has some wine nearby.
I wouldn't mind a spirit.
Would there be wine in this?
Yeah. There's like a nice little mini bar, even though Septimus does not drink. It was for Bruce, really.
If anything, the truth serum in the wine will be harder for him to recognize. As Jacques is going to mage hand it over
I'll do
give
the
me
sleight
that
of hand.
Sleight of
check.
hand, yeah.
So I rolled one previously. Do you want me to take that one?
No, let's re-roll because I just re-rolled for him.
Okay. Good, because they both aren't good. So that's a 24.
Okay. Good enough though. Because he rolled a 20. He did not notice that you slipped the truth serum in.
And then so Jacquet puts in the truth serum, hands him the cup, and then as he goes to toast, and he goes, "Oh, do you guys want some too?" To the other party members.
Yeah.
Jacquet's mage hand will pour everyone a glass or a goblet, and then as he toasts, he is going to say, "I don't mean to rub it in, but here's to us winning and you losing," as he's going to cutting words. Cadmus. So that's minus D6. I get to roll that D6, so I'm gonna roll it, even though I've been rolling really shit.
I was just gonna tell you to roll it, so great.
That's a 5. So he can minus 5 off his saving throw. It's Constitution 18.
Minus 5. It makes this very difficult for him. With your response, with your saying like to us winning and you losing, he does kind of, with the mage hand at his face, he gives you kind of like a nod and says, "To the unknowable future." All right, it's a big deal. He has to roll. He honestly has to roll like a 18, 19, 20. Because if it's minus 5 and it's 18, right? You said 18 is the DC?
Aye, Captain.
Okay, I need to do the math real quick. Wow. He would have passed without the cutting words. But he got a 17. You got a 17.
Got him. Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, don't worry, Clay. The silvery barbs was in the
Was in the holster. Yeah.
Now I don't think that would benefit from the cutting words.
No, it wouldn't.
So
yeah.
It would make it a little more difficult, but at least then it's another chance.
There's a chance. It's a chance, yeah. He drinks it and he basically takes it as a shot. Well, I guess it would be up to you because you hold the mage hand.
Well, if he starts slurping greedily at it, Jacquet isn't going to hold back. He's going to be like, "Oh, no, please, please, my friend."
Yeah.
In that voice, too.
There is a little, like, twitch in his neck as he consumes it. You can't see his eyes, but you can tell he's scrunching his eyes, feeling the effects seep in.
So, additionally, he is poisoned for an hour, and the poisoned creature can't knowingly communicate a lie. So that means he's got disadvantage on all these ability checks.
Yep.
Where'd you get this poison?
He made it.
I bought it, but then I made it. I spent a lot of silver. Well, like over 1,000 silver to increase its potency.
Yeah, like a normal truth serum for like somewhat like a CR16 enemy is not that difficult to bypass.
Right.
You know, it's only an 11 DC, right, for the original.
Yeah.
You should thank me. I muted there.
Thank you for doing the decent, normal thing.
Thank you.
Yeah, for doing what's expected of you. He can definitely tell, like he can tell that you slipped something now,
right,
once it's affecting him. Oldest trick in the book.
Yeah, I guess Sigil has some pretty strong stuff here. Probably hasn't been touched in a while, so it's increased in potency.
I did not. Bravo. Truly. Truly. Masterful gambit, Mr. Touchard. A home brew, perhaps?
I'm sure I have no idea what you're talking about. Where's Reardon?
Reardon is in the widow's ward.
Where? And at this, Jacques has stood up and he's like, kind of like,
Yeah.
he's feeling a little protective right now. He's like, where the fuck is Reardon? And there's no more coyness. There's no more sly, manipulative. There is just mean
Directness.
Jacques.
Yeah.
Fyrn
Red.
like rolls his eye like he's saying, "Finally."
Now that there's a guarantee of an answer that's not inherently a lie, he gives you an address underneath this building.
Would that be like connected? Is it around the
Yeah,
Otter
I'll tell you where.
business?
Yeah, no, it's in the northern abandoned buildings where you spied on the shadow demon
Right.
talking with Winifred. It's in that neighborhood.
And at this, Jacques grabs him by the lapel and kind of pulls him up a little and goes, and how does Dalen fit into all this? You know Dalen? The orc?
Dalen, the Shadowmancer, is a lieutenant of mine.
And at this, Jacques kind of like releases him and goes, Lieutenant of yours?
Yes.
What are all the names you go by?
Cadmus Marvelo, Kellen Thibodeau, Renning Greaves. I didn't want you to find out this way, Jacques. A slew of others would take too long to call. But I think those are the ones that you want to know, right?
What?
At this moment, like behind him, Fyrn uses his bonus action to summon the Ithildagnir into his hand.
And I imagine the entire room gets like 20 degrees colder with that thing
Yep.
in here.
So what happens now? Running?
I would have proposed that I negotiate a meeting for you and hope that you die in that meeting. Obviously, that won't work now.
How many times have you underestimated us?
Five times. Sean doesn't know if that's an accurate number, but he would be
That's fair, that's
answering
fair.
honestly. It's
Yeah.
essentially a number that is the objective number of times that he's been like, fuck these
That's-
guys.
Yeah.
Do you think you're going to do it again?
Yes. I already have.
Do you mean?
I mean, in this current situation. I'm sure you meant that to be included in your original question.
I didn't, but I meant moving forward. If there is a forward from here. Because I
You
feel...
can't kill me here.
Why not?
He wouldn't allow it.
Jacques is going to mage hand and open the door. Is there anyone there?
No.
Okay, he closes it again.
Wait, is Sigil in the room with us or no?
No.
No.
Who's he?
No. Sorry, you probably thought I was talking about your friend in the other room. No. No. Inkranosh would not allow it.
Who the fuck is that?
The didact of the void.
What?
Sean, would you want an Arcana? Or Arcana is what I'm proficient in.
Yeah, Arcana.
check.
It would be if you were like, who's Inkranosh? It would be Arcana or religion.
Okay.
Can I do those as well?
Mm-hmm.
Can I
Sometimes
access
I don't know
Row
why.
here?
Yeah. You can call upon Ro.
Yeah, just be like, do you know who the fuck this is?
I want to get their checks first.
Yeah.
15
19.
on
15?
Arcana.
Septimus, did you do Arcana or religion?
Religion.
Okay. For you, Jacquette, with a 15, you wouldn't recognize the name Enkarnesh.
Mhm.
You would recognize from other conversations in a little bit of your college years, like the didact.
Right.
Like didact as the lords of hell, the lords and ladies of hell. A leader, if someone is a didact, it means they own a planet, essentially, in the hells, and have a significant amount of power. You would actually, like, for a good reference, like, this is someone more powerful than Ro. Ro is not a didact. Ro is like a sub-didact of a realm. This is the didacts are the second most powerful beings in all of the hells. You don't know a lot of the details of like the specific domains of them, so you wouldn't necessarily know like more about the domain of the void. Septimus, you're not going to know a lot more than that. You're going to know definitely everything I said to him, mostly because you guys don't have a lot of study in the hells. You've asked Sigil to study the hells for you, but with religion, the thing that you would know from like a story maybe you've heard told by a bard at one point about the hells and the process of the hells is that Enkarnash, you don't know that name, but the void is something that you know from the hells, and that the void is one of the deepest parts of the hells. It is eternally in the shadow of the black star that is the abyss, and also like the orchestrator of the imprisonment of demons.
Okay.
This entity ended the eternal conflict between demons and fiends, which is an unbelievable amount of power.
Oh, my goodness.
Oh. A didact. That's your patron?
Yes.
And sorry, didn't Saskia get something from Ro?
Yes. So Saskia, as he says, your patron, Ro does not jovially like pop up and be like, "Oh, that son of a bitch." Ro is in the corner of the room, like a scared dog. He's not actually like, he's just like in the corner, like as if he backed up away from your body into this corner.
I'm assuming that means yes, you know who that is.
Yes. Inkarnesh. Very bad. Very bad.
World-ending bad?
World dominating.
Right.
And Inkarnesh does not lightly take warlocks unless he has plans for that realm.
Ah.
You know how I've been saying I wanted to escape the hells, right?
Uh-huh. Yeah.
I
Is this one of the reasons?
No. I was looking at connecting patterns. I thought I was ahead of the curve. You
You're
think
just as surprised
Kranesh...
as we are.
Yes. Then Kranesh has connected those patterns. And I assume his conclusion would be similar to mine. That the hells must be vacated and a new home found.
And that new home is here?
Everyone wants to come to the material plane.
Fuck. I'll say that out loud. I'll say fuck out loud.
Jacquet looking quizzically at Sass, but then back to him. Jacquet goes, "What does your master want? Why Halcyon? Why Hyvin? Why would a didact of the hells care?"
And you see Greaves melts away to the like figure of Greaves that you heard about, the mustachioed man with the top hat. He obviously can't create a top hat out of his flesh, so he's still in Kellen's clothes, but he just like shifts to a human with this like grin on his face with this thick mustache of black hairs. He can see what others cannot see. A reckoning for our cosmos. I think not unlike what you were speaking about, Jacquet, when we spoke last night. And he has infiltrated every layer of Halcyon. Every conceivable point of Halcyon is under his control. You know, Halcyon is built on the ruins of an old empire. One Ankranesh knew. The Kian Dominion had sought to subjugate the world until they were destroyed by the armies of a different didact. Their hellgates pock the entirety of Halcyon. Halcyon itself is built on the coast of a lake formed by the caldera of a hellgate.
Wait, are you saying the Hellgates are from this, the ruins of the Eon Dominion, or the people who killed the Keon Dominion?
People who killed the Kieran Dominion.
Okay.
The devilish armies that invaded Aldhalor during the Morrisir conflict destroyed the Kieran Dominion. And then once the like end of the Morrisir conflict happened, the Hellgates were closed and the fiendish armies were left to kind of become wild. And those were like the main like danger of early civilization in Aldhalor, that the Halcyon came to power in its previous form, the Kingdom of Alumno and the Republic of Alumno, by banding people together to destroy those demons and settle a home. And then in recent history, those were the Republic of Halcyon was subverted by the auguries of Halcyon, which was this sort of mageocracy that then created the Alumno Defiance as the sort of main resistance to the auguries' influence on Halcyon.
Did you say that Halcyon was the one that was built beside a lake that was part of a demon gate, or Hyvin?
Halcyon.
Okay.
Yeah.
And the Kieran Dominion, there were some of those folks that left to go to Gwenvalor, and that's the Kiranor.
Correct.
Right? And so Jacquet would be presumably somewhat familiar with
Yes.
the Kieran.
Yeah, you would know. Well, I'll amend that slightly. Iranor is like the nation of Halcyon, with Halcyon being like the city-state capital. It's often not called Kiranor because Halcyon is basically a city-state, but their territories are called Kiranor. What you're thinking of is the Kiris Re.
Kiris Re.
Yes. All of the Kiris Re were those who fled the Morseer conflict from the Kirin Dominion, landing in Gwenvalier, and like the Kiris Re armor that Seraphil had was from them. A lot of the like artifacts studied by the university over in Caerdolan are artifacts from that Kiris Re expedition.
Okay.
Does this ring any resonance with Fyrn, being that, the history of his people having like some sort of...
Give me a religion check.
Oh,
I'm going to say with advantage because of your heritage.
Well, it didn't let me roll with advantage, so I'm rolling again. I got a 12, but I think I can do something to that.
I think there's a fighter.
Isn't that a saving throw?
It might be a saving throw, I think.
Indomitable saving throws, but there's another thing. It's the tactical mind. I can roll a d10 and add it to an ability check by using a second wind slot. So, but I can only do that. You have to tell me if I fail or succeed first.
You fail, so you can you can use that.
All right, let's add a d10, see what happens.
Anything can happen. Anything.
It's a 15 now. Do I still fail?
No, 15 is what you needed.
Oh.
So you this is not ringing like the names that are being said don't ring as anything to you, but the concepts do. Like there's a lot of stories in Yorke community being sort of a remnant community from, a long oral history from the original survivors of the Morseer conflict are in your community. So this Enkernesh figure sounds an awful lot like an ill-omened spirit in your spiritual ancestry. This void-like figure that was said to be it was said that the vile, mean-spirited elements that you might encounter, things that should be avoided and revered with fear, come from a void-like place. And that your ancestry is not in the similar vein of like tieflings who were just born because there was some deal in their family. Like your community was like there's a trace presence of fiendish magic in your lands that causes the all tiefling population. There's even been reports of like northerners who've gone off and sired families outside of your homeland who have non-tiefling children. But this presence has been said to come from a place that is ill-spirited, but also still connected to the elemental elements. It's a complicated piece of lore that you always kind of maybe didn't pay full attention to when the seers were talking about it, but undoubtedly there's influence from the hells in your lands. How that relates to your spiritual worship is complicated and maybe obscured by oral tradition. But there is a figure in your culture's lore of like a void presence that is sometimes the source of distress in elements that cause them to go a little bit more, become more dangerous.
I guess I was kind of asking, like, you spoke about like spoken lore.
Yes, like, yes, the like history that I was just talking about is way more familiar to you than the fiendish stuff. Like your people were traders and travelers and raiders. You know about like the general history of Alumno, though you might not call it that. You might call it like the Far Kingdom or the Far Republic. And you're very familiar with the fact that there was that demonic incursion that needed to be quelled in order for Alma to not be preyed upon by those demons. And like there's obviously like really rich stories of the first raiders and traders to go to far lands and have to fight demonic hordes to survive.
Okay.
And your people would definitely be aware of generally be aware of Hellgates as a thing, because in those raids they would come upon Hellgates, which while they weren't active, were usually like a gathering place for these hordes.
So I think at this point, is Mr. Greaves here, like on his knees, like he's on the floor?
He's like sitting. I imagine his legs are out and his hands behind his back.
I imagine he's on one of the beds.
Or that too. No, wherever you guys would have put him. I didn't ask, but wherever you would have put him. Imagine he's either sitting against the wall or sitting on one of the beds.
Okay, so I'm just gonna like take him with like one hand and just like, you know, pull him off of the bed or off of the floor and like basically slam him against the wall and hold my Ithildagnir out with my other hand and just, you know, not breaking eye contact with like his blindfold, just like holding him in place and saying, "Bastard hellspawn, what does your master have to do here? Why can't he just leave us alone? My kind has been fighting yours for decades, maybe even centuries. What makes you think you have a right to these lands?"
The history of Aldhalor is the history of might and strength. Your people know that better than anybody. Lest those southern colonies were acquired without any effects upon the people who may have lived there before. Even the destruction of the Kian Dominion was the result of the might and power of a fiend and his warlock. Survival is everything. And the material plane is unique as this last vestige for those in the cosmos to retreat to if they need to.
Fyrn just looks at him and he says, "I think you're right. Survival is everything. Strength is all we can rely on. So let us test your theory. If this Ikradosh, let's test his power right now." And I immediately attack him.
Hey.
Does anyone try to stop him or is it...
Yeah, Jacquet is going to go in and like try to like hold back the Ithildagnir.
Yeah, Fyrn would stop. You know, he's not like overcome with rage. He's intentionally doing this, so he would like look back at, he looks back at Jacquet with like a face that you've only seen him do to people like when he's about to murder them. Like, you know, it's that devilish smile that he gets whenever he like gets into a good fight.
You can test the power of Inkanash. But first, if I may, a mortal touch to show what we can do. Do you mind holding his mouth open again?
Yeah, he just, feared, makes his, Ithildagnir disappear for a second and, you know, holds him up and, you know, does that.
This is gonna hurt you a lot more than it hurt me, Jacquet says as he takes out another poison, pops the top, and pours it down his throat as he uses his pale tincture. So that was another cutting words. I'm gonna need a Constitution saving throw at disadvantage because of the poison condition from the Truth Serum. DC is only 16 on the pale tincture. However, you will be removing 1 from that roll. But we got disadvantage, guys. We got disadvantage. It's okay. It's okay.
Wait. So what is the thing doing?
You'll find out.
If it works.
What was the saving throw again?
16.
What kind?
Oh, sorry. Con saving throw.
I figured. He fails.
So he is going to take 1d6 poison damage. And
He's a stabilized person who was dead, so he only has 1 hit point. So I'm just saying, no matter what you roll, he's going to go unconscious.
Okay, so he's going to go unconscious. That was 6 poison damage. However, he is now poisoned and will repeat the saving throw every 24 hours, taking 1d6 poison damage on a failed save. The damage the poison deals can't be healed by any means while the creature remains poisoned. After 7 successful saves against the poison, the creature is no longer poisoned. So, I have just poisoned Mr. Greaves for at least a week. He will be making every roll at disadvantage. He will be taking poison damage slowly. That can't be healed. Maybe short of a wish spell. I don't know. It doesn't actually say that, but you know, you're the DM. You do whatever you want.
I mean, a wish spell could just simply be a greater restoration or a lesser restoration. I hate to
make it
I mean,
seem-
obviously he's in a situation where this is not gonna happen, but like poisons are so cool, but like it's such an easy way to fix in like a D&D world with lesser restoration. I wish it wasn't as easy.
No, it's okay. It's okay. I get it. And as he is like falling unconscious, if you'll allow me, Jacques is going to hold up another vial that clearly looks like an antidote and goes, I believe in second chances, my friend. Forsake your dark master.
Do you lift his blindfold so we can see that?
Oh yeah, sure. So as he's,
he's going unconscious. He doesn't have a chance to teleport.
Jacques with a claw pulls back the blindfold, dangling this, saying, "I believe in second chances. Come to the light. Forsake your dark master. Let's be friends."
And as he sort of like he's not like saying words, but like he's clearly like trying to like talk, but the poison is taking effect, and you see the like almost caricature politician face that he has melts completely away, and you see the real Renning Greaves. You see the changeling. So you can see the skin goes taut and becomes pale all over. The eyes are pure white with no sclera pupil delineation, with like they're slightly sunken with sort of this shadowy skin around the eyes. Underneath the skin is almost translucent, and what you see is sort of like the entirety of his body, not covered by the Kellen's clothes, is like a Rorschach test that fluctuates. Like all like there's this sort of like black ink blots just sort of like are constantly shifting all over his body. And you see just sort of like this slick back black hair that goes down to his shoulders. But you could just see sort of that this is his true form. This is what him as a changeling, what he looks like without interference of his biology. And is this sort of like walking Rorschach test.
Oh, God.
He goes unconscious from the poison.
Okay, yeah, I guess that makes sense.
Fyrn just looks at him and says,
He's
"Seems
not
like
making
all
any
right.
death
If,
saves,
you,
is
if
he?
you're, yeah, if you're
Unless you
magic-
stabilize him, he's going to be making death saves.
I mean, I'm just gonna kill him anyway. Why poison him?
Well, it was the idea that if his master, bamfed him out of here or something, magically saved him.
As he's talking, I crush his head in.
You just
Not stopping him.
drop your
Yeah.
the Dagnir on it.
Exactly.
Not stopping
Okay.
him.
All right, as that happens, there's a very audible crunch.
Oh, jeez.
Oh.
A few moments go by. And then he turns completely into a black ichor and melts into the wood, the stone floor.
Oh.
Oh, what the fuck?
Like he literally like the sealant between the stone floor like disintegrates and his form just seeps into the earth and vanishes.
Is this process like almost instant, or is there like a second?
Pretty much instantaneous. Like he completely it's not instantaneous upon killing him. Like you kill him and for a moment you like actually like maybe like in your heart fear and you're like, that's right, puny god. And then it's just sort of like an immediate like it's so immediate. It's like a splat that happens in the sense of like there's a three-dimensional solid form that immediately becomes liquid that just and then
Well, now what?
Seems we will be seeing him again. He said that Encronash would not let him die.
Certainly didn't expect to have an audience with Mr. Greaves today. Did any of you?
At least we killed a dangerous changeling.
We didn't, though.
We don't know what Inkranash will do with his soul. He might bring him back, but probably not with the same body as he had before. We destroyed it.
Jacquet, almost ignoring this conversation, puts the antidote back into his jacket pocket, picks up Samari, and walks to the door, just like almost in like a stupor as he opens it.
Well, Fyrn puts his hand on Jacquet's shoulder and, tightly grabs it and says, Where do you think you're going? We've got work to do still.
Yeah,
Save
gotta
your
get
friend
Reardon back.
Right.
And Jacquet just puts up a fist to like knuckle touch Fyrn.
Yes,
Is
he knocks it back. He turns to the others and says, we should all get going. We should make haste before they realize what we've done.
Okay, are we all going together?
You should think so.
Just asking.
This is it. And he kind of like cocks Samari as like the crossbow limbs flex out. We're going after the syndicate. I don't think any of us realized just how dangerous they were. A warlock of a didact. And he says this kind of looking at both, well, at all three of them, because they would all three have an understanding of this.
Certainly.
A leader of the Hells. And they want to come here. Like him, he says, pointing just to the left or right of Saskia.
Yeah,
Roby appears in your shows like, well, to be fair, I want to come here in a more like, I used to be from here way, not I want to destroy the entire realm and make it my own shadow kingdom.
Noted.
He actually appears to all of you, I'll say there.
Okay. Yeah.
he's like, I'm gonna be part of this. You know, he's gonna talk about me. And he says that.
Fyrn looks at Jaqued and says, a didact of the void, spirit of that power, we most likely stand no chance, but we don't have much choice but to fight for our people, our land, our very lives. This is not just for Hyvin anymore. The real war has already begun under our noses. Halcyon has gone to the other side. We must act as soon as possible.
Bruce is not going to like that. But we have to stop this Inkanush's tendrils from worming its way into Hyvin. And the quickest, easiest way to do that is to take out the Syndicate. Whatever Greaves has set up there, I assume will operate without him.
Should I rally our forces, or shall we go as a party?
I don't know. I think we should do this the old-fashioned way, don't you guys?
I suppose it would be more fun.
What an inspiring leader.
Yeah. Quite.
Septimus, Saskia?
I mean, yeah. This kind of changes our agenda for the day then, yeah?
We stand little chance against Didact of the Void. But so long as we keep him in the hells, we'll be able to be safe. The Syndicate and its followers must know of some way of trying to open a portal or rift between here and the hells. We must make sure that none of that could happen. Looking to Sass. And then Ro, seriously.
Yeah. Question.
A didact is a significantly superior power to me. The didacts fucking hate me. Sorry. The diadem.
It's a big man
sure
to
they do,
admit
but
that
you should-
others are strong.
You should understand the risk that comes with trying to, I suppose,
Liberate.
have a mouse slip out of a crack. Where the
Well, that's
large
what I was
animal
going to
will
say.
follow.
Is there a chance that this thing comes through with you?
Not if we do it correctly. Which this little endeavor here does make that more difficult. So, I am all in support of us going and kicking a door down and destroying this syndicate of yours. Because I don't want any, as I've promised to you, Saskia, and you, Septimus, I am here in favor of you. And I suppose, Septimus, our deal's off because you've learned everything that I would have found out for you. And he kind of grins at you.
You need
Clarity.
a deal with this
Clarity.
fucker?
Clarity, not a deal. We had a discussion.
Sorry, a pre-deal. A pre-deal.
Prologue. Exist?
We had prologues. We all had prologues.
We did, yes. Okay, hang on. Before we go kicking down the door of the syndicate, we had other things that we were going to do. Are we not doing them anymore? Or are we just going
The other
right
thing
there?
was delaying the election for Greaves.
Right.
That's clearly not going to happen when we know the severity behind the syndicate. I think it's time
All right.
for us
I
to
think-
attack them head on. Looking to Fyrn.
You all will need your plan regardless. If we
That's right.
successfully destroy the syndicate, you'll still need to rally these people. Otherwise, another power will fill that void.
Jacques claps Saskia on the back and goes, "Don't worry, you'll still get to do your speech. The Godless Cat ain't going anywhere. But before then, we need to kick some ass."
Let's go kick some ass.
All right. So, given kicking some ass is going to be probably an extensive encounter, we're probably going to end a little early tonight and start really hard next week to jump into this. Thankfully, the battle map I prepared can still work. I'll just need to have some subsequent battle maps after that. But truthfully, fantastic job. You guys have accelerated the arc extensively by successfully capturing Greaves in that moment. Basically, you're jumping forward a couple sessions, essentially, as far as like encounters go. But I love it. I love it, though. That's why I was so excited when I was like, oh, Greaves got one less than what he needed on X,
Right.
or like all of those things. Like, and oof, just when I was so glad that it was a pitch and a hit when I was like, my lieutenant. So prepare for next session. You will be infiltrating the Syndicate to, at the very least, rescue Reardon, but also an opportunity to put the fire out where it's coming from. Doesn't necessarily mean you're going to defeat the Syndicate, but at the very least, you have a mission of rescuing Reardon.
Firebreakers.
But that's where we're going to end tonight. Firebreakers, yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
That's where we're going to end tonight, folks. We're going to jump in next week, hit it hard with a really exciting encounter of infiltrating the Syndicate now that you have the exact address of where their lair is, and you know that your friend is there, and also the opportunity to put out the Syndicate once and for all, and to get the upper hand on Greaves now that you've secured this victory over him, if he's dead or not.
Probably not.
All right. That's all for us tonight, folks. Thank you for hanging out with us. We will be back next week with this exciting encounter. Thank you all. Good night.
Bye.